We'll move on to the question number 2 we have for Deepika. So I split the question into two parts. That's okay. So Deepika, do you think that organizations are genuinely interested in elevating women in their organization to the highest levels? In your observations, or because you've been in touch with a lot of women, you're interacting in the forums, etc. And the second part of the question is, can you explain the importance of empathy and compassionate leadership, and how the women and men, in terms of compassionate leadership and empathy, who you see more demonstrative in these skills? Deepika, over to you, please.
Oh, thank you, Kiran. That's a very, very interesting question, and very, very close to my heart, because my entire work revolves around women leadership. Coming to the first part of it, are organizations wanting to do their bit and are doing their bit in terms of bringing in more women into leadership? Yes, I think organizations are doing their bit in terms of bridging gender gaps in senior leadership. And there is definitely a positive push from organizations to enable women to move up the corporate ladder, to move up the leadership ladder. Yes, there are challenges, and there are certain challenges unique to women. And but we're in the process of overcoming those challenges. We're making a gradual but very, very formative steps towards overcoming challenges. But having said that, a lot still needs to be worked upon. But you know, where I see one big challenge where you've actually had an organizational intent of giving that push to women in leadership, and you know, what came out of it was in a very, very huge healthcare organization. I happened to be conducting a session, and the HR walked up to me and said that, just need your little bit of inputs in something that I want to share with you. And I said, sure. So he said, you know, we had an internal job posting for the next step towards leadership, and we had 2 internal candidates that, you know, we thought were absolutely at par in terms of deliverables, in terms of productivity, in terms of taking the leap forward. But obviously there was one single position, and so we asked them both to apply. Now, both of them applied, and when it came to their formal interaction with the HR in terms of, you know, discussing their entire position and what lies ahead, in walks in the man, and he has a great action plan in terms of what he's achieved so far, where has he kind of brought value to so far, what does he today bring to the table, and what's going to be the way ahead. And that entire, you know, succession plan, the progress planning or future planning is in place, and brings it bang onto the table. In walks in the woman, who was perceived to be probably more credible, and you know, so the first thing she walks in and says is that, do you really think I'm ready for this? What made you identify me as being one of the potential persons to take it forward? Can I get back to you on it? Can I kind of check with, of course. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that, yes, women come with, you know, if we say that we have basket full of responsibilities and roles to play, I think women just have their baskets overflowing and outpouring. That's a given fact. But somewhere they're not able to kind of give them their due in terms of embracing what organizations have in store for them. So I think that sense of self-belief, that sense of self-confidence, that sense of taking that plunge, and then of course working backwards how to make things happen, is a mindset that we need to incorporate in women in terms of what organizations have in store for them. And trust you me, organizations are doing their bit in terms of offering relatively equal opportunities. It is on to us now to latch on to those opportunities that come our way and make the most of it. And the first obstacle being self-doubt and that little bit of hesitation and underplaying ourselves. Once that is sorted, nothing can stop us moving forward. Coming to the second part of your question, which was on empathetic, on compassionate leadership, I think God has made us that way, where a woman is perceived to be and is inherently more nurturing. There is a lot of logical thinking that happens, though we hugely underplay that. There is huge loads of compassion and nurturing that are a part of our DNA. And what I observe is that the corporate world perceives us and sees us only from an angle of that soft, nurturing, compassionate part of it. It does not, and probably we've not done our bit in terms of making them reckon the fact that we're a great balance of both, and as needed, as required, we can bring those skills into play and fit the jigsaw beautifully. So compassionate leadership, of course, has been a part of a woman's DNA. It's been there for men as well, but probably, as I said, since we come from a nurturing, genetic makeup, there is a natural inclination of us managing things and taking things forward in a more humane manner, in a more holistic manner. And and it's time that we play that to our advantage and, kind of bring that skill forward for the world to experience. And the world of late has been experiencing, given the pandemic. You see, wherever there have been women leaders, they've been fabulously managing the scenario of the pandemic as well. So a lot, as I said, is out there, ready to be grabbed, and a lot has to be an inside-out job in terms of us women looking in for leadership.
And thank you, Deepika, for that. So I was just doing a little bit of just looking at the statistics. So if you see the Fortune 100 companies in the 2018-19, so you have the 5% of women are in, like, so CEOs and CFOs in the leadership roles. But by the end of 2019, so you have 1/3 of them has dropped out, which is sad. So it could be any reason, different reasons. So we don't know the reasons behind it. So to start with, the percentage is less, and then there is the discontinuity in the leadership roles. So what do you think the women are facing issues which lead to happen the lesser percentage?
Valid, very, very valid question yet again, Kiran. Thank you for that. Yes, if you see the statistics, as much as we take pride in, kind of giving equal opportunities for women and starting off at a relatively equal ratio, as the ladder, as we climb up, it tapers down, it funnels down to that mere little 5% that you just spoke about. And further dropouts from there. Now, one big factor that comes into my mind as I hear this input from your end is that, a lot of us believe that there is a glass ceiling, and trust you me, if you've reached a certain level in leadership, you've already shattered that glass ceiling that exists, right? But what lies beyond, and then we kind of come into a very happy space that, okay, we've shattered the glass ceiling, we've climbed up that notch and moved that notch forward. But what we also are in store for, and which, just an observation, has been exclusively for women and women leaders, is something called the glass cliff, right? And most of us are not ready for that glass cliff. We haven't got enough women or men mentors to enable us segue further on from there. And also the fact that we are notoriously known for being too harsh on ourselves and constantly wanting to prove ourselves and prove ourselves right all the time, right? I think we've got to ease out on our own selves first. I think Indra Nooyi once mentioned that you cannot have it all, right? And you cannot have it all in the sense that you cannot control it all, but you can manage a lot of it. We're bad at asking for help. We're bad at delegating work. We're bad at saying that, okay, I don't know something and I want to know about it, or reaching out for help. We somewhere kind of come across and want to prove a point as a superwoman that I can handle it all, I can manage it all, I may be crumbling inside. So I think times like now, where we are in a far more open forum, a far more open society, a far more open scenario, is communication. Second is not being too harsh on yourself. Third is having or building, while on your way up, building that support system for your own self, where you learn, you develop, you nurture your own self. Of course, organizations will kind of, give you a helping hand there and support there. But are you really seriously interested in investing in yourself and investing in your growth? These are a few aspects that if one looks into, we definitely can head for a better percentage. Yes, we're still, as per the World Economic Forum, we're still about 108 years far away from 100% equality, but we can make a difference even now.
Deepika, some of the characteristics you mentioned in terms of, compassion and nurturing, a lot of times that tends to lead women into very stereotypical kind of roles. So, and this was true a few generations ago where, a woman in a corporate sector is generally in HR because that's a nurturing role. You would not see a woman in a more masculine, quote unquote, role where you need to take harsh decisions, you need to take decisions per se, not just harsh decisions. Those were the more reserved for the men, so to speak. That has come down to a very large extent, but we still see that, segregation in terms of what role you play in the organization. How do you see that coming together and, that becoming gender neutral and more about attributes rather than gender?
Lovely question. Thanks, Uma. Let's deep dive a little bit more. Let's start from defining leadership. Leadership itself has been defined in a very masculine manner. You've got to be aggressive, you've got to be bossy, you've got to, that the word boss itself has a very, very masculine aura to it. So we've got to somewhere, start redefining the very definition of leadership. We've got to bring in neutrality there and then carry forward the neutrality further as well. So the nurturing part of it and all of that is great, but nurturing is equally needed in a marketing and a sales scenario, in a in a boardroom scenario, in whatever aspect in life, and so is management. Like Mr. Parshuraman said, that we're CEOs of the house, we manage the entire ecosystem so well. So we are, ask the men around in the household. You would. I don't think they're going to hesitate in mentioning the leadership skills that we have when it comes to putting a point across, getting the work done. So when we can get it done in our immediate ecosystem, why is it not out there in a corporate ecosystem? Is because of those predetermined, predefined definitions of and perceptions of leadership, roles, management, and all of that. Once we open our mindset more on that, make it more neutral, that's where we will see a difference coming in, a change coming in.
Inability to distinguish between gender bias and gender sensitivity. And unfortunately, I'm seeing it more in women. Yes. And therefore, this is inhibiting actually the younger women or the women who are probably below the ranks to even come up in leadership position. I want to comment and specifically this to Kavita and Deepika. This is something which I've seen increasingly. And as a part of this, Kavita, I heard you say that, men allow women to take the spotlight. It's a very, very loaded statement. Actually, it's a difference between powering and empowering. I think empowerment is taken and power is given. So your views on this, Kavita and Deepika, both of you. Thank you so much for allowing me to ask this question.
Thank you so much. I'd like to take the lead here to answer that for you. I think it's a beautiful fact that you brought forward because, again, it has, it's got to do with a little more deep dive into the entire foundations, right? We've always heard, and thanks for pointing that out, we've always heard that women step on each other's toes to climb up the ladder. Right? Because somewhere the ladder appears to be so masculine that you've really got to kind of nudge your way out and kind of become a man to climb it up, right? But now things are changing. Now, let's take the work that my organization does. We've built a platform called Corporate Diva, which essentially is Building Women Leader platform, wherein you give them that space of being the woman that they are, and they together nurture, build, and make space for each other to climb up the ladder collectively. So that is something which is one is the need of the hour. Second is, right, like Kavita said, and even Vikas pointed that out, that sensitizing your boys when you're bringing them up. I've seen even my own community, for that matter, one notices that, okay, agar garam roti aaye, garam roti is given to the boy first, and the roti on the table is passed on to around people. But I think that's where we women have to play that torchbearer, that role of making things neutral, starting from the household. Raising boys as an equal part of the household. Kiran mentioned that, daycares and support systems and all of that. That I would look at as secondary. Primary is, are we building that support system within? Are we treating things and people equally within? Am I raising my boy as equal as I'm raising my girl? And taking those steps forward is probably which is more valid, more important. Like in our household, my 13-year-old son probably makes the best tea out of all of us. And my daughter is the one who would take on, we have a chat every now and then. She wants to join the armed forces, and she's still very this thing about why isn't it open for women, the infantry part of it. So if those are the conversations where we are having, where being in the infantry is not taken as a boy thing, and making a cup of tea is not taken as a girl thing, but it's taken as a household, as an ecosystem thing, that's from where we will have to build up, and that's from where we will have to kind of drill in neutrality, drill in equality, and not make equality an issue to be spoken about. It has to be something which is natural, that should come to all of us.
Yep.
I come across hugely is, and that's from the women out there, is log kya kahenge? That external validation. What will people say if I do it? I may be competent, I may be credible, I may have the skills, I may have the opportunities, but I am the one being my own barrier by saying ki log kya kahenge and looking for that external validation. I think that's a huge hurdle for all of us to cross. And if we can cross that, is where we lead to what Kavita and Mr. Raman said, that, taking things forward and building onto it. But we've got to overcome this barrier of log kya kahenge. I'm also going to jump into this because this is something, literally very, very close to the work that we're doing. In fact, I did respond on this particular question even on LinkedIn, wherein, I guided her to go visit our website, which is www.corporate-diva.com, is purely because that is the ecosystem that we are been doing and making for past over half a decade, nearly close to a decade, wherein women support women, women build each other. We provide a safe space to share your fears, to share your vulnerabilities, yet we give them opportunities to be mentored, to be coached, with our programs that pretty much address to the entire life cycle of women professionals, be it them graduating out from B schools and getting them corporate ready, to emerging women leaders, to senior women leaders seeking the next level of coaching and mentoring to take the step forward, to even returning career women and women entrepreneurs. So there is this forum out there which is enabling women joining hands together to be each other's champions, to understand where we all come from. We pretty much come from the same space, same platform, and take it collectively up and forward. So there are platforms like that. Corporate Diva proudly is one of those platforms, and we're really looking forward to taking that ecosystem forward and getting that whole tribe of women climb up the ladder together, hand in hand. Absolutely. In fact, one last input here from my end as well is that, the entire discussion of women leadership and all the gender issues that we talk about and speak about, I personally am a champion of both genders working hand in hand. In isolation, there is not really much that we will be able to achieve. It's got to be a hand-in-hand journey forward. and it's wonderful to see that both genders are there wanting to champion for each other. They just need ways, avenues, or structures forward to join hands constructively. So just urging everybody to join hands constructively so that we make it a more neutral world, we make it a more equal opportunity world, and have a pleasant world forward.